Welcome again to the afternoon session of this today's seminar. The Honorable Speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Mazlina Muhammad Said, lecturers, students, and all the participants. Thank you for joining us again. We will continue our discussion about the halal cosmetic. In this afternoon session, we have Associate Prof. Dr. Mazlina Muhammad Said as our speaker. Before Dr. Mazlina deliver her lecture, I will introduce her in a brief. Associate Prof. Dr. Mazlina Muhammad Said is a senior lecturer in Fakulty of Pharmacy, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. She obtained her PhD degree from the School of Pharmacy, University of London, UK. Dr. Mazlina is also a member of Malaysian Pharmacy Society. She has many publications and awards. She experts in drug and herbal standardization, quality control, and halal pharmaceutical. Today, she will share a talk about the analysis of halal cosmetics in about 1 hour. As usual, after the lecture, we will have a Q&A session. So to all the participants, you can write down the question on the chat room. So once you have a question in your mind, you can directly write down the question. No need to wait until the end of the lecture. So your question will be read and answered at the end of the lecture. Okay, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Mazlina. Dr. Mazlina, the 1 hour time is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yondani. Alhamdulillah. Okay, let me share my slide. Okay. Can everyone see my slide now?
Yes, Prof. Yes,
Okay,
Dr.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good afternoon, everyone. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Yondani, for a very generous introduction. Again, my name is Mazlina. I am a lecturer at the Faculty Pharmacy UKM. All right. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me for this session. And then I would like to congratulate all the participants of International Summer Course of Pharmacy 2024. You guys are very lucky to attend this session. To have the opportunity to be with each other in this mobility program. I think the highlight of undergraduate studies would be one of this involving in this type of activities. All right, without further delay, I would like to proceed to my task for today, that is to give a sharing on analysis of halal cosmetics. All right, okay. Okay, the outline of my talk today will be as such. Okay, I'm going to start with a brief introduction, source of halal cosmetic ingredient, general guidelines, production of halal cosmetic, testing method, challenges, and perspective in the cosmeceutical development. So I did not get the full tentative of the program. I only got tentative for today. So I'm not sure if you guys have gone through this, but if you do, I believe so. So I'm just going to go briefly on each of these items. Right? Okay, if we look at 15 years ago, we'll see that when we talk about halal cosmetic, people have this assumption that it's a cheap product, it's low quality, outdated. If you could recall the old packaging that we have for it's the Muslim base or halal products, very, very low class and not attractive. But now if you see halal certified beauty industry is booming with global turnover worth of 74.7 billion. That was in 2020. And this is expected to grow 9.6% until 2026, and it keep on increasing. So what really caused these changes? All right, a bit, I think everybody, if you probably have gone through this, the growth in Muslim population in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in the Eastern country, in Arab country. So the growth in Muslim population cause more increased demand. So there's a demand of halal pharmaceutical and cosmeceuticals. There's more R&D, especially on cosmeceutical products, halal logistics, halal certifications. So basically, I think worldwide, we have so many organizations related to each country that do halal certification. So on top of that, not just there's many Muslim, there's also a rising income among Muslims. So most Muslim have moved out to the second tiers of the community. So we have more purchasing power, and also now people, especially the Muslim, we have realized that we have this choice. Okay, we can choose to get to select our products, whether it's halal, non-halal. So we have a choice as a consumer to select it. All right. Another thing, okay, if does it just relate to Muslim? Okay, it's not only, okay, at this moment of time, I think halal pharma or halal cosmetic is not just attracting to a Muslim only. Okay, there's a lot of non-Muslim. If you look through literature, there's a lot of non-Muslim has moved on to select halal pharmaceuticals or cosmeceuticals, cosmetics as well. Why? Because the concept of halal cosmetic embrace the eco-ethical philosophy. Okay, what does eco-ethical philosophy means? It's free from animal cruelty. So we support this, caring for environment, not harming the body, and fulfilling CSR. All right. So the halal industry also crosses over to wider audience, such as those who share concerns about animal testing or unnatural substances. So we have this perception that halal cosmetics come from a good production, not just related by GMP, accredited or following the guidance of GMP, but we have halal certification double on top of the GMP certifications. Okay, let's have a quick look, just in case if you have missed out from your previous lecture, what does cosmetics mean? Okay, there are terms cosmetics and cosmeceuticals. So can anyone of the audience, help me? What are the differentiation between cosmetics and cosmeceuticals? Anyone? Let's just be interactive so that we are not going to go bored or sleepy.
Okay, for all the participants, you can raise your hand or write down your answer in the chat room, please.
Okay, but I could not see the chat room, doctor. They
Oh,
cannot
is it?
They could not unmute, is it? So
Maybe the operator can help to unmute the participants.
so anyone? Difference between cosmetic and cosmeceuticals. Okay, that's fine. It's taking quite a long time. So cosmetics are basically skincare products. Okay, you put it at the outer part of your body. It meant to protect or preserve or make it more beautiful than it is. Okay, cosmeceuticals, on the other hand, it got certain active ingredients or certain purpose that you do. For example, a deodorant. A deodorant is cosmetic, but antiperspirant is a drug. So deodorant will just help you to to reduce smell, all right. But antiperspirant, they have specific active ingredient to reduce sweating on particular places. All right, that's some examples. So cosmeceuticals are aimed at modifying specific problems relating to deeper or superficial surfaces. It's basically referred to product marketed as cosmetic but claim added value. So they have some active ingredients, for examples like retinol, vitamin A, as an active ingredient to normalize keratinize. You want to look beautiful, decrease wrinkles and roughness of the skin. However, the term cosmeceuticals at this moment of time and previously also is not accepted under FDA. All right, I'm not too sure in Indonesia, but in Malaysia also, we do not have this term cosmeceuticals in our product yet. We don't have this classification in our product registrations. It's either cosmetics or it's either considered as drugs. If you put some chemical drugs inside your cosmetic, then it's considered and classified as drug itself. Okay, all right. So now moving on quickly to what is halal cosmetics again. Okay, as you can see, there are many guidelines. There are there are about 10 guidelines talking about halal cosmetics. So the main G's of halal cosmetic is that first, it must source from the halal ingredient. So it contain any part of matter of an animal that is do not consist or contain any part of matter of animal that is prohibited by Sharia and fatwa for a Muslim. It does not contain naj. Okay, if it's contain something that is permitted animal, this animal must be slaughtered in accordance with Sharia and fatwa as well. It do not intoxicate. Okay, it do not contain any parts of human being or any parts of inappropriate animals and so on. It's not poisonous or hazardous to health. It have not been prepared, processed, or manufactured using instrument that is contaminated with naj according to Sharia law and fatwa, and have not caused in preparing, processing, or storing, have been in contact, mixed, or have close proximity to any materials that fails to satisfy items A and B. So this is the regulation, the guidelines that we have in Malaysia, MS 2634. We have the latest version 2020. I know MUI, they also have specific guidelines on that. So the thing is halal cosmetics or halal pharma is not just limited to the ingredient alone. If you look here, it talk a lot about source of the ingredients, but it also focus on the manufacturing processes, the storing, the packaging, type of packaging that we use to pack our product. And also it has the requirement to deliver as products according to Sharia. So that's what does it mean as deliver the products according to Sharia? Meaning that if you remember, if you're Muslim and you know about the usage of nail polish, so there is a discussion whether it's allowable or not. So that's the issue about delivering the products according to the Sharia. Yeah, okay, we're going to have a look why all these are important, because later on when we talk about testing, so all these considerations are taking place into testing. All right. So, and most importantly, halal cosmetic, it must be a product that recognized as clean, safe, and of high quality. So it's not just halal, but we use it as halalan toyiban, which means to say wholesomeness. Okay, toyib in Arab. So in English, it's wholesomeness, meaning that it is as it is. The whole part of the items that we're talking about are clean. All right, so what reflects wholesomeness of a product is basically the preparation, the processing, manufacture, storage, transports of halal cosmetic products, maintenance of hygiene and pure condition, all must be ensured at all time. It must follow GMP. All right, so the GMP certification of the factory must be in place. There's no a nudge within the area. There's no switching of items. So sometimes under a GMP setup, you produce halal material and then you produce non-halal material. So it's not permissible because under halal certification, this requirement must be a separate incident. Okay, hence halal cosmetic product bearing the logo must be recognized as indicator of cleanliness, safety, purity, and quality. So this is a commitment. When we have a halal stamp, halal certification is basically, it give assurance, it signify the commitment of the quality and the safety of the product. So whenever you see, as a Muslim, if I go and I find a product that have this halal certification, halal stamp on its product, despite of the origin of this halal, it can be coming from Indonesia or halal logo from a company in China or from Thailand. So as long as there is halal there, it gives me peace of mind, knowing that whatever product that I'm taking is one, it follows the normal regulation under GMP and so on. And number two, it has been double checked through the halal certification process itself. All right, so here are the halal cosmetic examples. You can see I tried to find the local products. Yeah, so this is I think available in most of the countries. And you can see Wardah is a very famous product from Indonesia. I think this lip marker by Wardah and Aloha is also from Indonesia. So we have this one company from Thailand, I think, Celine, yeah. So I was informed that we have a student from Pakistan and Sri Lanka as well. Am I right?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
that's
okay.
right.
I tried to Google up, is there any halal cosmetics from this region? So I could not find anything. Am I right? Do you know, for those students who are coming from Pakistan and Sri Lanka, do you know that if there's a specific company producing halal cosmetics in your region? Perhaps you can chat. No, okay, all right. There's no, okay, University of Kuala no product. Okay, so perhaps this open up your entrepreneur's activity. Perhaps this is one of the field that you can try to think about. Is there a market, a halal market in your area that you could just rebrand a product into a halal cosmetic as well? Okay, moving on. So these are the guidelines. Okay, various guidelines of halal halal cosmetic standard. All right, the development of halal cosmetic is based on regional guidelines. If you see, we have this ISO, we have OIC guideline and SMIC, we have GSO for the we have MUI, Asian Cosmetic Directive, we have MS. We have NPRA guidelines. There's specifically for just for cosmetic, Cosmetic Directive also for cosmetic. We have FDA guidelines and ICH guidelines. So we have this reference, and we have few exactly mentioned about production of halal cosmetics. Okay. However, in these guidelines, if you see, although we have variations of guidelines, but more or less they talk about the same thing. They do not have, they probably have one or two, but it's incomprehensive of the sourcing. We're talking about we have to get from the right source, we have to get the right raw material, but there's no complete list of these materials or raw materials inside the guidelines. And also there's none about testing. So not all this guideline does not inform about the testing of the performance of halal product performance, especially when it's associated with Muslim activities or rituals like taking wudu or cleaning up yourself. So it does not have any testing performance mentioned in these guidelines. All right. So we're going to have a look at the first important part, which is the source of the halal cosmetic. The sources of halal cosmetic are divided into three: the permitted, prohibited, and critical. All right, so let's have a look. So these are an example of the halal permitted. Okay, the permitted ingredient allowable. So basically these items, if you see, they are derived from plants, some are from soils, from water, from permissible animal, yeah, from synthetic materials. Okay, as long as synthetic materials that have been proven to be safe in the lab. Okay, this is an exactly haram cosmetic ingredients, whereby if you're trying to produce, you try to avoid this at all stage. All right. Normally these products that is considered under haram, they are derived from human body parts, blood. Okay, some examples: blood, animal parts, especially the forbidden animal parts, insects, because there are some sects in the Muslim sects that did not allow us to use insects, and also some of the harmful chemicals. Right, so these are totally haram cosmetic ingredients. And the long list that we have here is the critical cosmetic ingredients. Okay, critical here because it can be halal, it can be haram, depending on the usage, depending on the changes of the materials later on. Okay, so you see these are some examples, yeah, allantoin, alpha hydroxy acids, azelaic acid. So it may be derived from unspecified animal urine. It may be derived from unspecified animals. So depending on which animal they are using. So if it's an halal animals, then it's susceptible to be used as part of your production as raw materials. So that's why it's termed under critical. And normally to use this product as actives in your production of cosmetic, you need to get certification, halal certification of the raw materials per se. All right. On top of the sources, we do have controversial cosmetics or cosmeceuticals ingredient. This is a well-known dangerous chemical that have been put inside our products. For example, one of the most common one is parabens. Okay, despite of its danger, we still can find it inside our products. So parabens are used in makeup, lotion, shampoos. There are parabens used as preservatives in food and medicine as well. Yeah, it helps to prevent bacterial and fungal growth. So why parabens are dangerous? Is because it mimic estrogen. So the hormone that controls most female reproductive function. Too much of it, a male may affect the male. The male can be affected by it. Okay. Another one is phthalates. All right, so normally this keep nail polish from chipping, so it's harden certain part of your skins. Okay, it soften your hair products or insolvent in fragrances. All right, so why is it dangerous? Because the breakdown of this compound have been found in human milk, urine, and saliva. All right, so these interfere with testosterone. All right. Other than that, we have other dangerous, the controversial cosmetics include chemical sunscreen, physical sunscreens, and aluminium. So these are the product in the antiperspirant. So aluminium function as to block your sweat gland, to block your sweat gland, and then you reduce sweating. That's the purpose of using antiperspirant. However, this aluminium could stay for a long time in your body, and also there are certain studies showing that aluminium appear in the breast tissue, breast milk, okay, fluid from breast, cysts, and blood endocrine. So that's why people have been started to use a natural form of antiperspirant or deodorant per se. All right. So that covers the first important part of halal cosmetic, which is the source. You have to choose the right source. The second part covers the production. Okay, the production, it must follow the GMP. So basically, whatever regulations related to the registration of cosmetic for a particular country, like in Malaysia, we require cosmetic to be notified into our regulatory agency. So notified, they have a specific form, they have to fill in the forms, they have to give informations about microbial analysis of your products and also certain parts of heavy metals, and then it can be notified. So before halal certification, this notification process need to be completed first. Then only product we can apply halal certification for a product. So similarly, I think in most of the countries, regulation about the same. Yeah, the GMP of these products are important. So products need to be produced under GMP. So on top of GMP, there's a lot of other halal assurance systems requirement related to GMP. For example, you need to have the halal executives, the halal committee team in the company to assess, to evaluate the purchasing of your raw material. So you need to segregate your halal, non-halal item production line, warehouse, storing area. So you need to have this audit, not just a normal audit that required by GMP, but additional audit focusing on the halal parts of your of the company. And also you need to have a trained personnel. Okay, not just personnel that is trained under GMP and also under production, whatever task they are supposed to do, but they also need to be trained under halal assurance systems. So the concept that in MS 2000, halal cosmetic, we choose similar to halal pharmaceutical. We choose the concept of halal built-in of pharmaceutical and cosmetic manufacturing. Whereby what does it mean with halal built-in is that we make sure that the source at the very beginning, all right, the items that go into the production system are halal. Only halal items go into the production systems. So that does not just mean the raw material, it's also focusing on the processing aid. It's also focusing on the testing materials, maybe some agar or some membranes that you use. Especially in cosmetic, you use a lot of membranes. So you have to make sure the membranes that you use for your cosmetic analysis is from halal source before it's being brought into your production or your labs. All right, so there's halal control checkpoint, whereby at this, the highlighted part with the gray dot emphasize an important points that we need to look at related to halal control. So management need to acknowledge again the production of halal products. Management need to be involved in setting up the halal production line. R&D, you have to source out everything in terms of the raw materials, processing aid, and your enzymes, your membranes. Okay, you have to make sure at this R&D level that it is all coming from the halal sources. Okay, same goes to purchasing. So ingredients, packaging, materials, other materials also need to be confirmed as halal. Packaging, okay, there's additional in terms of packaging, halal cosmetic. Okay, sometimes the type of packaging used, the source of the packaging must be from halal, and the features of the packaging also must be appropriate. So there was an issue in Malaysia whereby cosmetic was packed in a very unsuitable shape of bottle that represent a human body, body of a lady. So this is considered as inappropriate and it's not suitable for halal cosmetic. So storage needs to be separated, halal and non-halal product, and also all the other post-production items need to follow the halal regulation. All right, now we move on to halal cosmetic testing. Okay, what to test? All right, okay, in this case, so I'm not focusing on the general cosmetic testing. We are just focusing zoom directly on halal cosmetics analysis. All right. So as I've mentioned in all the guidelines that we've seen just now, it does not mention about what type of testing we need. Because at the current practice, what we need to do is we need to provide certification at the raw material level. So I think that's not a practice in Malaysia. It's not a practice that we test the samples after it fully produced. No, we do not do that. What we do is that we test it at the raw material level to make sure it's halal before it goes into our production system. All right. So there are 5 type of testing that I would like to share with you today. First one is the skin model, water penetration, permeation of alcohol, solvent, cosmetic API, the washability quantification, okay, how quick you can wash it from your face, from your outer skins, and detection of non-halal ingredient in cosmetic. I think of all, number 5 is the one that is required by the governing body. Those with asterisk, that's not really required. It's just that we're going to explore it now. Perhaps it will come in the future. All right, skin model. So when you try to study or to test your cosmetic, the best skin model protocol use human or porcine ears. Okay, so the usage of human and porcine ears membrane in the testing of cosmetic, one directly oppose the basic tenet of halal science. So if you look halal cosmetic, you should not use one of the human material substance from human. Yeah, whether it's as raw materials or as the testing items or as enzymes and so on. So the absence of human or porcine-based articles. So that gives us the first hurdle. Okay, another competent skin model, rat skin. Okay, after human porcine, that comes the rat skin if you want to do skin modeling. So again, that goes against halal science. because we sacrifice animal. So sometimes not halal science, tapi cosmetic testing. So now cosmetic testing are against cruelty of animals. So we try to do something that without harming the animals. So these limitations add on to the possible use of artificial model membranes. So that goes into artificial model membranes. So if you're going to start your research on skin and with the aim of producing halal cosmetic at the end, so start using artificial model membrane. So there are some good model membrane that that constructed almost equivalent to human skin. So there's a lot of positive, negative side of artificial model membrane, but we need to compromise because these are the requirement of the halal cosmetic. All right, next test is the water penetration test. So what does water penetration test? Is basically if you use your Cutex, your nail coloring. Yeah, so how if you take wudu, basically this test is to answer if you use your nail coloring. So if you take wudu, will the cleansed water pass through your nails or not? So water penetration test. So this test is used French diffusion cell and silicon membranes. So the instruments as such, and best if you can use human nails as it is. So that will be more accurate. So what you need to do is you use deuterium oxide water applied on the donor side, so on the top, and see the withdrawal of liquids at predetermined times. Okay, detection of D2O using FTIR later on, and that should directly confirm water penetration to the applied nail polish. So the same method is being used to assess the water penetration in the difficult to wash type of cosmetics, for example, lipstick, eye mascara, eyeliner. So this important because it goes to the Sharia requirement. So this is important because you need to understand whether when you take wudu, right? Okay, wudu just for a non-Muslim participant, wudu is cleaning activities that you need to do before you perform your prayer. So you need to make sure that whether you need to really clean it using certain chemical or you can just use water and it pass through to your skin. So that answers the questions. All right. So other than that, there's a test that the researchers do on permeation of alcohol and active ingredients. So basically, this focus on what I call the cosmeceuticals or functional cosmetic. Those type of cosmetics with active ingredients. So we try to detect and quantify the amount of actives inside this stratum corneum or viable epidermis or dermis. All right, so I found, so based on this reference, okay, these are some of the methods established. All right, so the more realistic evaluation of chemical permeation can be attained when conditions are closely simulating actual use in your experiment setup. The closer you use, again, on the usage, the more realistic your evaluation will be. So these are some of the examples whereby you see a lot of higher end instrumentations, HPLC, LSC, GC were used to identify and quantify the active ingredients in your cosmeceuticals. Okay, next is washable quantification. So they call it washability quantification, just to back how quickly you can wash your cosmetics. All right, after applying them. Okay, the applied cosmetic on skin is rinsed. Okay, the way this experiment was conducted is when the applied cosmetic is rinsed first with water, wipe off with sodium lauryl sulfate. Basically, these are the common ingredients in liquid soap and also your makeup remover. Then skin may be rinsed with water to reflect terminal rinsing during bath. Okay, and then with that remaining water, we do dermatopharmacokinetics and tissue distribution studies that could validate the depositions of chemicals in the stratum corneum or the dermis after washing. So I've seen there are a few references on to explain how dermatokinetics and tissue distribution studies are being conducted. But one of the most interesting method is this one. So in one of the research, they strip, okay, the subcutaneous 20 times using cellophane tape, extracting the drugs from the tape with ethanol and vortex it for 1 hour. So tissue distribution is established by cutting and homogenizing the resulting VAD, and they quantify using appropriate method. In this case, they proceed to HPLC analysis. So this is one of the I think the simplest method that these experiments done to denote how quickly you can wash your makeups, your cosmetics. All right. The last type of analysis associated with halal cosmetic that is mentioned inside the guidelines are detection of non-halal ingredients. All right, basically this detection we did not do on each product that we produce, but the method is there just in case you need to have a protocol of this method just in case if there is a contamination available. So you need to have this. So there's a lot of strip or more ready-made analysis available. Okay, the most common one you see is PCR. All right, PCR, because we are dealing with DNA, protein, PCR seems to be the most appropriate method. However, with PCR, it's a bit tedious. It's easily contaminate. It takes quite a long time and also costly. So there's also methods using DSC, all right, suitable for protein, and microwave dielectric sensing systems. Okay, and then moving on, there's also chromatographic and spectroscopic techniques that were used in to discriminate halal and non-halal material. So previously compared to the last 10 years, okay, there are many methods that has been established, that has been published in literature just to show about this possibility of these instruments to discriminate halal and non-halal materials. All right, these are examples. FTIR and GCMS use reverse phase HPLC are possible as well, and electrophoresis, of course. All right. However, all techniques come with its own advantage and disadvantage, of course. Yeah. So HPLC will require you to have a standard comparison. So you have to do a lot of pre-treatments because you're dealing with proteins, and proteins HPLC are not really friendly without pre-treatment. So you have to do pre-treatments. Okay, another methods that have been used or have been demonstrated to be fully useful is using spectroscopic method. In this case, it's FTIR, and couple it with chemometric analysis. Okay, chemometric analysis is basically a statistical procedure. However, this statistical procedure deals with a lot of data. Okay, if you learn about our statistics, all right, our SPSS statistics, so we learn in SPSS or in our normal statistics that we have learned, so we have X, Y parameters, but in chemometric, we deal with X, Y, Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4, Z5, a lot of data, whereby you take this FTIR data and you use this statistical chemometric analysis to classify and identify these sources of materials. And this can be applied to determining halal and non-halal as well. All right, so I'm going to share with you with one of the small projects that we have done in our own lab, whereby we try to establish a rapid discrimination of halal and non-halal pharmaceutical cosmetic excipients by ETR, FTIR spectroscopy, and chemometric. So we're using different type of raw materials, gelatin, a mix of pharma raw materials and cosmetics, and we establish a protocol on FTIR acquisition spectra of the raw materials and also the chemometric applications. All right, a quick methodology involved is that we have a sample. Okay, the beauty of using FTIR and chemometric in this case is because it reduce sample preparation. You can analyze the samples, especially if you use ATR, FTIR, you can analyze the samples as it is. Okay, without having to pre-treat, dissolve it. So if it's powder, then you can analyze the powder. If it's tablet, you can analyze the tablet. So you use spectra acquisition using the instrument. You get the raw spectra analysis. Okay, you highlight those peaks. So you can do peak selection, or you can just run or identify as a per fingerprint method, and you develop a model. So basically you have to teach your model. So these are halal, this is non-halal first, and then you do modeling, and you use a lot of optimizations need to be placed, and you test your modeling, your database with the unknown samples to see whether it could identify those halal and halal. And at this type of experiments or analysis, we put at 100% confidence intervals, because there's only halal and non-halal. All right. So here's the examples. Okay, if you see the spectrum that we got from our samples, you see, based on the FTIR spectral analysis, there's no difference that can be identified, whether it's kosher standard, bovine standard, or it's veggie standards. As long as it's the same compound, then it's the same type of spectrum. However, when we transfer this spectrum into a chemometric software and we start doing optimizations using different algorithms, so these are optimizing parameters, we started to see different classifications of our sample. So optimizations mean that we identify which is the best or the most suitable parameters, or all these pre-processing techniques that is suitable for our samples in order for us to identify. So in this case, if you see SNV1D type of pre-treatment that we use, it could differentiate between the animal, the bovine source, the kosher, and also the vegetarian source. All right. So building up the model, we use a partial least squared discriminant analysis, whereby with partial least squared discriminant analysis, we will be able to search a new unknown samples in our database. So the bigger the database, the better. So this is at the initial stage of the study, so you not see much sample here. But as you increase the number of samples in your database, the accuracy of the detections are better. And of course, as other methods, it need to be further validated and calibrated using its internal validation data, and also validated using other method, the gold standard method, which is HPLC. So all type of experiments will match into HPLC analysis to see that yes, we get it right on this method development. Right. So that's about small projects on halal and non-halal that we have done. And I think it's not just us. I think perhaps in USU as well, you have a similar type of research going on. So why FTIR and chemometrics is deemed as why are we exploring this? So there you've seen, I've mentioned we have a lot of other methods just now. Why FTIR is of advantage? One, because you can do rapid analysis. You just need to get the spectrum and run it in a chemometric software. You can do an in situ analysis. For example, if the regulatory officers do a raid, they want to test, so this can be done using a mobile devices. All right, so it's simple, rapid, and you get results as per se. However, results are based on screening rather than identification. So at least that will reduce the number of samples that you need to confirm further using more sophisticated method. All right, so that's the beauty of this FTIR and chemometrics. So with that as well, we use less solvents, okay, more greener techniques, okay, more cost effective, and so on. Okay. All right, so now a bit towards the end of these presentations. So I've mentioned there's not much being said about the analysis of halal cosmetic, a focus on 4. So halal cosmetic is not just about the sources, it's about the sources, the procedure, the production, and also whether the usage comply with Sharia or not. So most of the methods that newly developed are to make sure that it complies with the Sharia, whereby it can be washed easily, water can pass through the cosmetics and reach our skin. Okay, so a take-home message, studies show that women who apply lipstick end up eating the lipstick, in the morning we apply lipstick. By by 10 o'clock, you see your lipstick is all gone. Where does it go? So basically, you're eating it, and they have applied via absorption of the lipstick through their skin by licking their lips or when they eat, drink. So we tend to swallow it. So 6 to 9 pounds of lipstick are consumed as result in an average woman's lifetime. So you just imagine the number of animal-derived fatty acids, gelatin, as well as alcohol, because some of the items contain alcohol, you have consumed throughout your life. Yeah. So make sure when you select your cosmetics is of a good origin. Yeah, it's from the halal origin. Yeah, to make sure that if it's happened, at least you are, you know that it comes from the good source. Right. So other than that, there's a lot of issues, especially in Malaysia, that people simply do products without proper GMP, and there's also a lot of OEM that may not be regulated well. So there's issues like some cosmetics causing effects as such, as published in these newspapers. So there's a lot of products available that are mind disturbing. Yeah, and there's a lot of cases take place, and not really a lot, but there are cases that take place, known cases. So they are non-known cases. Yeah, they keep it as it is possible as well. Yeah, so with GMP, with halal certification, you know that our products are being tested twice. Okay, it goes the scrutiny of the halal cosmetic GMP pathway, and it's further being evaluated before it get halal certification. All right, so conclusion of my session today is that the development of halal cosmetic encompasses the concept of critical sourcing of the halal ingredient. So you need to apply halal practices in the step of manufacturing process and ensure conformance of product performance to Islamic rituals. Islamic rituals meaning that you take your wudu, okay, you clean your face and so on. The use of scientific method in the development of halal cosmetic must be advanced to ascertain the halal status and promote market acceptance, not only among Muslim consumers, but also by non-Muslim as well. So halal cosmetic transcend beyond religion because they require rigorous scientific investigation to come up with product that is safe, effective, pure, sensitive to the holistic need of the Muslim community. So regulatory agency and halal certification body need to be prepared in terms of expertise and consensus in dealing with new technology. So there's a lot of cosmeceutical products coming in, a lot of development. However, this is hampered by the readiness of the regulatory agency. At least that's how we see it in Malaysia. So the regulatory agency need to buff up, need to own these technologies in order for us to move on, to have a more quality of the cosmetic products. I think that's the end of my lecture today. So it was at 5 minutes early.
It's okay, Doctor. It is very nice presentation. Thank you for your amazing talk. So we move to the Q&A session. So for the participant, you can write down your question in the chat room, or you can ask directly by raising your hand. I think we already have one participant, Doctor.
Okay, please,
Okay,
silakan.
please, Dafa. Dafa, you can ask a question.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. I'm Dafa from USU. Ma'am, regarding your previous presentations about skin compatibility for the test, that was interest me in it. If it is possible to detect irritant artificially instead of testing the cosmetic on a real skin, is it possible? Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful presentation.
All right. Thank you, Dafa, for your questions. So I think let me rephrase your question. You're asking whether can we do it on artificial skin? Okay, is it effective enough? Well, to me personally, it might not be effective enough. Anything that is artificial, especially artificial skins, there's a lot of drawbacks to it. However, we need to set an agreement. Because if we are aiming for halal cosmetic, you know exactly human skin and also animal skin may not be suitable in this case. So what's next? So either we have it or we don't have it. So it may have a little bit down back to it, but that's good enough for now. However, Dafa, if you go through literature, they have currently quite a good type of skin model, artificial skin model that almost imitate the actual skin. So there's a lot of choices available, so you can make your choice and pick the most similar to the model that you're looking for.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Maslima. Dr. I want to ask, does the Malaysian halal body, Jakim Right,
Yes.
require that kind of halal testing, skin model testing for a cosmetic to be certified?
No. At this moment, no. So there's no testing. It's just that for raw materials only. So you need to just come out with a certified raw material, certified halal raw material, if it's under the critical class of raw materials. So if it's under halal, also if it's the source of materials is from plants or soil and so on, so you do not need to even provide the certification. So only those that critical under critical raw ingredients list.
Thank you, Doctor. We have another question. The committee, can you show the question? Okay. The question is from Devindi Rodrigo from University of Colombo, Sri Lanka, Doctor. The question is, can you explain the role of Islamic law in the formulation and certification of halal cosmetics? And how do halal cosmetic companies address issues of ingredient substitution or reformulation? Doctor, please, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you, Davini, for your questions. Okay, question number 1. Can you explain the role of Islamic law in the formulation and certification of halal cosmetic? So the role of Islamic law is the first that come. Sharia law is the first that we refer to whenever we want to do formulation or certification. Formulation with the aim of halal certification in the end. So that is basically the main reference that we have, and we try to suit our formulations in order to what is required by the Islamic law. For examples, the Islamic law mentioned that the sources, the easiest one, the very clear one regarding the sources. So you have to confirm with that. Even though you might find that certain formulation may be more active using these non-halal ingredients, raw materials, but because we are abide by the Islamic law, then we need to find alternatives for that. Okay, and another aspect that Islamic law requires you to, and examples to have a cosmetic that is penetrable, or water can penetrate in whatever parts of the body when you use your cosmetic, especially when you are performing your prayers and wudu. So this is why all these analysis come forward, because we're trying to fit in this Islamic law requirement on that. So I hope that answered the questions. Moving on to the next one. And how do halal cosmetic companies address issues of ingredient substitutions or reformulations? Okay, how do halal cosmetic companies? Okay, so that's a big challenge. So once you find that it's not accepted by the Sharia, your substitution, you just need to do a lot of R&D. So this have become quite a challenge. I mean, in terms, not just cosmetic, raw materials for pharmaceuticals as well. Because as we can see that that's not many halal certified raw materials available for pharmaceuticals and cosmeceuticals. I think this is something that we all as a scientist need to work on with to produce more halal certified ingredients so that substitutions can be made easily. So that's always a challenge there in terms of finding the right active ingredients.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I think it is very clear answer. We move to the next question. This committee. The next question is from Rahmi Fauzia from USU. As we know, halal cosmetic regulation vary across countries. How can these regulatory differences affect the availability and quality of halal cosmetic products in the global market, Doctor?
Okay. Thank you, Rahmi. Okay, that's true that some of the regulation varies, but we are currently trying to standardize even the requirement as well. For example, if you look through the guidelines that we have, one of it is SMIC, OIC SMIC guidelines related to cosmetics. So OIC SMIC guidelines, it's something that is accepted by all OIC countries. So meaning to say that if you follow these OIC guidelines in terms of productions of your halal cosmetic, then your products can be accepted, should be accepted by other OIC countries that follows to the same guidelines. Yeah. So of course we have different guidelines. Malaysian have ours, Indonesian have yours, and then we have Pakistan have your own. But I think this is the session that we use into merging all this together. So I was involved in one of the activity that we do. Yeah. So we look at all these guidelines that we have from varying countries, and we sit together and decide. We reformulate and see the best practice of each our country, and we come up with this OIC SMIC. That can be one of the ways. So instead of just focusing on your regulations, yeah, you focus on the one that is accepted. It's the same as PICS GMP, right? So PICS GMP is accepted by the members of the countries under PICS. So we conform to that, and then we can sell our products in this other PICS country. So that is a good practice. So how can these regulatory differences affect availability? So with that, hopefully it can increase availability and also the quality, because whatever it is, whether it's Malaysian guideline, Indonesian guideline, I'm sure the guideline focus to produce the best quality of halal cosmetic products, right? So one of the way is just use this OIC or these regional type of standards.
Correct, Doctor. Now we move. Thank you, Doctor, for your answering the question. We have another question, indirect question. Jesslyn Les, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your insightful presentations. But I want to ask that can you explain the ingredients about zinc oxide, which is currently controversial for its halal status, as we know that zinc oxide is also commonly found in baby powder.
Okay. Zinc oxide, is it?
Yes, zinc oxide.
Zinc oxide. So, okay. In baby powder. All right. Okay. This is associated with certain companies. Yeah. And it's been considered as labeled as dangerous. All right. Okay. Sometimes things appear after a certain substance can be considered as good raw materials until a certain period of time whereby we see, because of either its degradations or metabolites and so on, it's appear to be harmful to the body. This happens either in cosmetics and also in pharmaceuticals as well. So whatever goes into, there's a proof, okay, that if it's proven that the substance are harmful, then definitely it will go into the either critical or haram list. Then it should be avoided at all in terms of production per se. All right. So okay. There are cases where I think in pharma is also the same as we might have used certain compounds, okay, for a long time. Then after a certain period of time that we realize that this product is harmful. For example, NDMA. All right. So then after 20 years of using it, then only we realize that this is carcinogens. So by the time that we appear with evidence that this is harmful, then it will definitely shift the list source of materials from halal to non-halal, and should be avoided.
Is it clear, Jesslyn?
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
Jaslyn, for the question.
Thank you, Dr. Mazlina. Is there any other question, committee? I think that's all the question. Dr. Mazlina, I want to ask about the alcohol content. Just
Okay.
now you said about the alcohol content as one of the ingredient that should be tested. Is it acceptable for a cosmetic contain a certain amount of alcohol?
Yeah, I think Malaysians law, Sharia law, and Indonesians Sharia law, okay, we accept about 1% of alcohol content in our cosmetic product. Plus, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's by memory. Plus, if it's coming from the source of illegal, so not from the wine making source.
Mm.
So there's a acceptance of I think 1%, if I'm not mistaken, presence of alcohol inside the cosmetics allowable, both accepted in Malaysia and also in Indonesia.
Yeah, so I think the regulation is same in Indonesia, right, Doctor?
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Because there is no other question from the participant, and due to the limited time as well, so I think we end the question and answer session, Doctor.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much for all the questions.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Thank you for answering the question. Thank you again for your amazing presentation, for sharing us your knowledge and experiences. Now we have learned that there are many halal testing to confirm the halal status of the cosmetic products, especially to confirm the halal status of the ingredient of the cosmetic, because there are many critical points in terms of halal requirement in cosmetic. So we have to be aware and choose carefully if we want to use cosmetic for our daily use, if we want to use halal product. Not only halal, but also tayyib, Doctor, right?
Correct,
Good,
correct.
good to our health.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, again, and thank you again to all the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we are at the end of the session. Again, thank you to our distinguished lecturer, Associate Professor Dr. Mazlina, for sharing the valuable information. May the information is useful and beneficial to all of us, especially to all the students. To the participants, to all our students, thank you for your active participation. I apologize for any mistake. Hope to see you all in the future. Now I give it back the event to the MC. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good afternoon.
Thank you, Mrs. Yuandani, for moderating this session. I believe that all of us have learned a lot from Dr. Mazlina.
Express our gratitude, we would like to award a certificate to our speaker and also the moderator. We would like to invite Apotheker Mariani, SSE, MSE, the third Vice Dean of the Faculty of Pharmacy, Universitas Sumatera Utara, to officially deliver the certificate.
For the first one, we would like to invite the Honorable Associate Professor, Dr. Mazlina binti Muhammad Said. Thank you for your amazing lecture and knowledge you have shared with us.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Mazlina.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih. Thank you very
Congratulations.
much for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mazlina, for your willingness to be a speaker in our International Summer Conference. Very much for your insightful presentation. On behalf of the Faculty of Pharmacy, here is the certificate. I hope we can make collaboration further.
Inshallah. Okay. Inshallah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Dr. Mazlina.
Thank you.
Well, Dr. and also Mrs. Mariani, we will take a picture for a while, so please kindly give your brightest smile. Count 1, 2, and 3. Thank you so much.
Secondly,
A certificate of appreciation is given to Apothecary Yuandani S. Pharm MSc PhD as the moderator of the session. Again, we are pleased to have Mrs. Marianne delivers it.
Assalamualaikum, Ibu Dr. Yuandani.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Ibu Mariana.
Thank you very much for being a moderator for this session. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Yandani, for your guidance during the session. We will take a picture. So please kindly give your best smile to count 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. Once again, thank you for our amazing speaker and moderator. Before we jump into the next session, let us take the documentation again with the speaker, moderator, and also all the participants. Please open your camera and give your best pose. All right, there are 4 slides here. Let us start from the first slide. Ready? All right. For the first slide, count 1, 2, and 3. The second slide, count 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. The third slide, count 1, 2, and 3. And then the last slide, count 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, everyone.
All right, as we have mentioned on the first day of the course, there is a personal assignment that needs to be done. For all participants, please make an essay or PowerPoint video about futuristic construct in natural cosmetics with a specific natural compound according to the local wisdom.
Doing the essay or PowerPoint, then you will have to make a video about the assignments. This deadline will be due in 1 week, but for participants who took offline courses, you must prepare yourself for the offline presentation in September. If you have any questions regarding the assignment given, you may ask about it in our WhatsApp group. Don't worry, we will send the detail and further information in the WhatsApp group.
All right, so after finishing the agenda for the day, you know what's coming, right?
Of course, the post test for the last day. So dear participants, please get ready for the post test.
All participants are required to submit the post test as one of the requirements to get an e-certificate. You can do it by clicking the link that was shared by the committee in the chat room or by scanning the barcode presented on the screen, and it will direct you to the test.
Bear in mind, the post-test link will be accessible until 6 p.m. Western Indonesian time. Also, we will be pleased to receive your feedback through the evaluation form so that we can improve this event in the future. Without further ado, the post-test starts now.
And as we have done all of our agenda for this online course, therefore, it's time for us to bid farewell. Thank you to all participants who have been with us throughout all these lectures. I hope everything you have learned during this 4-day course will be useful for all of you. Well then, what's the special announcement, Helen?
All right, Sharon. There will be a closing ceremony for this course on 11th September 2024. Be sure to be there as the announcement for various awards will be held on that day. We truly appreciate all the participants' effort for learning during this online course.
If there were any moments or words we did or said which were inappropriate, we would like to sincerely apologize. We also want to say thank you to all the speakers and moderators who have given us numerous new insights about cosmetology. And of course, special thanks to the committee who have prepared this event from the beginning to the end. We hope that all of the things you have obtained during this course can be useful for your current or upcoming research and work.
So, we will close the day with a quote from Taylor Swift's songs. It's August, slip away into a moment of time, but let's meet again at another change. And with that, the International Summer Course of Pharmacy 2024 will be continued.
Till next time.
Goodbye.